Oh, excuse me. Alright, getting things started. Um, Quick apologies for starting so late. Just before I was going to start, I got sort of an impromptu visit from family, so had a coffee with them, let them know what was going on, and yeah, starting a little late. Uh, but that's fine, I think. So today I'm gonna be working on costumes for Lily, Lily, for Molly and Libby. So I drew up these sketches. Molly's is Godzilla and Libby's Gamera. So for Molly's, I basically used the one that we see multiple times in the series. Uh, Modified the eyes slightly so it's more of an aggro expression than the sort of goofy eyeball one. And try my best to make the spikes look like Godzilla spikes. So sharp plates and then the leaf-like pattern ones. And then for Libby's, I sketched up something I was inspired by several different designs I've seen. I looked up like some costumes, like in animes. Uh, and I also kind of wanted to be like the same, where there was like big costume, big rubber kaiju movie costume, but with like a face hole in it. And then just some color splotches there. Spikes, body, and that little part in the tum tum right there. Oh, let's see who we got here. Elongated Man, Charles Buchanan, MC Cubed, Hola, Jason, Superior Cyber Godzilla, Christian Atkins, Rory, Tavi. I think you're new. I haven't seen you before, Tavi. I don't think I have. Let's see. Steve's here. And Jason. No, I already said Jason. Alright. Hey, did you see me as Ragatha and Wilt as Jax? Oh, I don't think I have. If you want to link your community tab, I could check that out. Looks like it's very clear. Yep. The poll was pretty much there could only be one winner very early on. Rain Cloud, hi. I love Libby so much. She's my favorite character. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the show had been more popular. I bet she could have gotten a spin-off. She's very. She has um, title character vibes. The show could have easily been about her. All right. I think with that I'll get started. Steve with all the fun little emojis there. Thank you. Let's see. Let me take Molly off her shoulders. Could add her later. Just stay in the crowd there. All right. Let's get going. Using red for now just to make it easier to show over the characters. And then we could change the colors later. Let's see if this... This will be big enough. So yeah, again, this is just something that the reason why I love sort of doing Flash style animation. It's just so easy to take existing assets and like in this case, drawing a costume over it. I have a few more sort of Halloween themed Patreon requests. One of our patrons actually asked for Vivi, I think her name's Vivi, from Brain Dead. Which should be fun. Brain Dead's one of those games, classic kind of games where it's like you're it's like you're in a cartoon basically, and you have to press the right button at the right time to move ahead in the cartoon. Otherwise, you get like a really gruesome demise. So it's like Space Ace or Dragon's Lair, if y'all have ever seen those. Except in Brain Dead, the when you get killed in that game, it's usually pretty gruesome. Oh, I saw those purple hearts. I knew it had to be Wolf asking for some giant Punguari. Which, as I keep telling you, Wolf, it's gonna be a while. Saludos desde Mexico. Hello, Ari Ghost. This is the first time I've seen you in our chat. And one thing I can do, I've already saved a copy, is I could remove her hair, since her costume would, or adjust her hair a little bit, since her costume would be sort of blocking it, or concealing it. Could also put the hair in a separate layer, and then put a mask over it. Look at your second PBS. Yeah. A lot of people have been expressing they'd be interested to see more uh, PBS show uh, characters. Only one I could think of that I'd be personally interested in doing something with maybe is George Shrinks. But I know people have mentioned, I especially get a lot of requests for um, Word Girl. Particularly since there is an episode where one of the characters turns giant. Cyber Chasers, I think, is another one that gets requested. And recently, I've gotten requests for a few others. Electric Company, for example. But we'll see. As I've mentioned many times, I'm not personally interested in a lot of PBS show characters, but if there are people out there interested, there's always our Patreon. Great way for you to request characters you like. And then I'll take time from my busy schedule, like I am right now, to make something like a giant Libby in a Gamera costume. Dot D and Del. Yeah, that's a new one for me. I have to look those three up. Dot D Del BBS. Oh, I remember seeing them in bumpers. Didn't realize they had names. Yeah, from what I researched, I saw that I guess one of the characters turns giant in like the first Electric Company episode. So that's another thing I have to check out. But as I've mentioned before, I'm still working my way through Carmen Sandiego, which even though I'm looking at the Netflix series, I do kind of consider Carmen a PBS character. She did have a game show on PBS when I was growing up, which was pretty fun. I really loved the concept. They had like some really great actors, particularly playing the chief, and they had some really great a cappella music. Ronald Bovell. I've made fan art. I'll check it out. I did notice a bit of an influx of AGW fan art, but I mentioned to the person who was posting it because they were making like collages, which is fine, but it's a little bit more difficult for us to post art collages like for the fan art showcase we do at the end of a lot of our videos. Just because it's you know, a collage, you're taking art from someone else or from another source and you're pasting it with more art. So always the potential of getting like a copyright strike or something like that. And I do tend to gravitate toward to original pieces, like just really great looking art. Stuff that inspires me, you know, like, oh, this is a really good idea. Stand with animation? What's that? BDFI? What's that? Oh. I still haven't taken a look at that. Molly McGee turned giant by eating a Wonderland taco. I think I did that one for a Patreon request. Kush and Chef Monkey shows here. Hola. Maybe that's a little bit too round. Let me sort of square it up a little bit. Is it weird that most of the stuff that I learned about Gamera early on came from a Mega Man video game and from an episode of Billy and Mandy? I remember on I think it was Sci-Fi Channel seeing a few Gamera movies, especially like when they used to do like these big marathons of Godzilla movies. And Gamera for me was always the silliest one because he did that weird thing where it's like he retracts into his shell and then like the leg holes become uh, an opening where there's like rockets or flames shooting out, and he like turns himself into a giant projectile. Which is a pretty cool spectacle. But yeah, I remember a Billy and Mandy episode where they were in Japan and they were talking with Gamera, and I learned a little bit more Gamera lore from Billy and Mandy. I guess Gamera gets his power from the children. And I just remember in a Mega Man game, there's a boss that you fight that it's basically just Gamera. Naruto's here. I was just watching Billy and Mandy clips about Jeff the Spider. Good old Jeff. He had a terrible father. I really love that episode of Billy and Mandy with the Spider Queen. Mostly because they make some references to fantasy literature. A couple of the Spider Queen's minions are drow elves, also known as dark elves, who, in a lot of high fantasy literature, they worship spiders. Yeah, it's a fun episode. So I think that's a rare team up with Mindy and Mandy. So it was nice to see. I do like you guys. Oh, thank you, Jason. Big City Greens. Still have to do something with that show eventually. It, it's perfect in a lot of ways for some sizey stuff. You got big in the title. You have antagonists that either have a lot of money or a lot of connection to weird sci-fi material. And it's a show that's largely about growing vegetables. So it wouldn't be odd to have like some kind of super grow material. Alright, this costume is coming along pretty good. Yeah, that's the thing that I think I also made that as a Patreon request. It was Gloria growing on the couch sitting next to Nancy. Which, by the way, I really enjoyed their their connection in the Space Vacation movie. It was sweet. Gloria sort of seeing Nancy as like as a mother figure. She has respect for her. And she wants to impress her. She wants to be a tough lady like Nancy. How thick are Libby's arms? Let me see. Maybe I'm gonna look on my my other laptop here. Alright, I think this size will work. I'm going to start adding some color. Love monsters versus aliens. That's another project I've sort of had waiting in the wings for a little bit. I made like a little trailer for Monsters versus Aliens 2. And the idea I had for that was like the monsters fight the aliens from Megamind. It's just one of a lot of ideas that I have to revisit sometime. I feel like Libby could repurpose this costume for a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles costume if she wanted to in the future. Yeah, I wish the Monsters versus Aliens movie had been a little bit more of a hit. Could have seen a sequel. Had some pretty good spectacle in it. When I think of that movie, I think of like the car skates, which was pretty fun to see. Or that scene where it's like she's falling off the building and then she like to her just drops a few feet, which is like nothing. I think the movie could have used a little bit more heart. A romantic interest. Speaking of that, when's that Attack of the 50-Foot Woman movie supposed to come out? Before, uh, whenever whenever that movie's supposed to be in theaters, I know it's like I don't know if it's even in production, but I did kind of want to do like a video with like possible predictions and talk about some stuff. I'll have to wait and see. Superfly was mutated into a giant whale fly who got animals as legs. Oh, yeah, I remember that. That was a pretty fun movie. I really loved it. They changed up the style. I remember someone saying that the style looked a little bit like graffiti, like living graffiti. Which is pretty cool. It's like they're in New York, so graffiti style feels appropriate. Yeah, that fight with Superfly in the end, the super powered mutant that was just like a chimera of zoo animals. That was pretty fun. Also, this was the first April O'Neil I've seen in a while that's very interested in journalism. So it was kind of fun. She's had a lot of jobs in the past, like incarnations of April O'Neil. I was wondering, do you want to request an animation as well? I put Vanilla Bean on my list. I think I'm going to wait until after I do an animation for you guys before I request anything. I did mention I wanted to do like from your Mario and Peach video. I wanted to do like some similar scenes, but with Paper Mario. I think it would be cute, like if Princess Peach is holding like a little Paper Mario and does that thing where like using her finger to like pet Mario. Like with Paper Mario, she would get a paper cut instead. I think that could be funny. And I think I already mentioned to you, like instead of putting Bowser like in a jar, she could take paper Bowser and like stick him on a cork board with a thumbtack. Lots of fun ideas. This costume is looking pretty good. Or use Bowser as a bookmark. Oh, I was playing around with After Effects, and there's a really cool. Uh, it's like an image transition you could use that. It takes like two images, and you could basically put effects on it to make it like turn like a page in a book. That could be something fun to play with. And would you commission for me? Make Giant Lose in anime style? Um, if you commissioned or joined our Patreon, $20 tier higher, we can do that though. Not a huge, not a huge anime fan. I think the best I can do would be like the chibi blues that you sometimes see in like those Disney shorts. Unless you're talking, when you say anime lose, unless you're talking about Lois Lane from My Adventures with Superman. I think that's as close to anime lose as we're gonna get. So I'll have to watch that series. Looks interesting. And I've seen some fun sizey art with Lois. Yeah, I'm not big into anime, but I'll do some limited anime ideas. The one with Misty was pretty straightforward. And that one was also a Patreon request. So again, if people request it on our Patreon and it's an idea that we like, we'll play with it. Right, I think we got our Gamera. I'm gonna save this little sketch because I think it looks cute. So that just leaves Molly. Weren't there like twins or triplets or quadruplets in this series? I think I remember Andrea doing like like a talent show. And there was like um, I want to say it was quadruplets that were doing the performance with her, like as background performers, dancers. I'm saying because if I took this step further, I can see Andrea as like Mothra, and maybe get the yeah, you remember Lewis. Oh, I forgot there were the twins. There were twins in that series. There were twins and there were quintuplets. Yeah, I can see Andrea as Mothra, and then the twins as those twin fairies that sort of what do they do? They're like gatekeepers for Mothra. They know all her lore. The little twins that live in a clamshell. Penny and Piper. And I can imagine June and Daryl just being like the kids you see sometimes in those classic movies. The ones that say Godzilla is our friend. He's actually nice. I wonder who would be Gamera in the Molly McGee universe. Maybe a monster with the three heads of the most antagonistic characters. Not sure they had a lot of human antagonists in that series. Thank you, Crazed Core. Yeah. Regardless, I did want to sort of discuss, have like a little Attack of the 50-Foot Woman discussion. Libby looks like Bowser. Um, Maybe if it was like a Bowser knockoff, like if someone was trying to make a knockoff Bowser pinata so that they wouldn't get sued. Will they make the 50-foot woman scary? They need to. Yeah, that's actually some of the stuff I wanted to discuss. Like, what kind of themes could a modern day 50-foot woman movie have? Another thing I wanted to discuss whenever I get around to making the video, the live stream I want to do, is like how it should end. Because we have seen multiple endings in different 50-foot woman or 50-foot esque woman movies. First one, of course, she dies, gets electrocuted. Second movie, or actually the first movie parody, the 60-foot bride of Candy Rock. She just basically gets turned back to her normal size. And in the remake with Daryl Hannah, we get the alien ending. The 50-foot woman gets abducted by aliens, and that's how she leaves the story. She leaves Earth. "50-foot mom trying to attend to her daily life would be very fun." I agree. Also, I'd like that ending where it's like she doesn't go back to normal size. She's just that's just how she is, and society has to learn to accept her instead of running around in fear. That'd be also an interesting kind of take to do, like oh, what are those movies? The Tucker and Dale. Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Like if they did something where it's like she's just trying to live her life and everyone around her is overreacting to how big she is. Oh yeah, Attack of the 50-Foot Cheerleader. I think that one sort of took the route of uh, like that Totally Spies episode where we had a big fight in the end, but then everything uh, more or less goes back to normal. Oh my god! If if the movie was successful and they decided to do a part two, Attack of the 50-Foot Woman Part 2. I can imagine if they did something like that, um, they'd have to do what they do in sequels where it's like you have to go bigger. So if they did something like that, I can imagine either to go bigger, it's like, okay, we did the 50-foot woman. Let's do Attack of the 500-foot woman or the 5,000-foot woman. Or just go like really insane and like do Attack of the 50-Foot Women. And it's like all over the world there's just women turning into giants. If that ever became like a thing they do with movies, you know. Like there are definitely some B movie type genres that they just get endless sequels, like shark movies. It'd be interesting if 50-Foot Woman movies got that kind of popularity, that kind of mainstream intrigue that every year people were just making those movies. And then they just got really wacky with sequels. We can only dream, indeed. I want that ending where she stays 50 feet tall and enjoys her new life. Same here. Elongated man. Uh, yeah, that would be like a New World Order kind of thing. That'd be like on the level of like Planet of the Apes, Planet of the Giant Women. But that's something like again, if Attack of the 50-Foot Woman became a genre unto itself and just got endless sequels. Though I can see how it might not have a universal kind of appeal. There are some menfolk who get a little agitated or uncomfortable with strong lady types. One thing I did want to discuss whenever I get around to doing that live stream, because it is something that was kind of um, brought up when they mentioned Tim Burton directing, like who was going to be the actor to do the role. And race did come up. Um, so that's something I want to discuss, like how the story might change or might be a different theme if it was like someone who was Asian or Hispanic or a black woman who was 50 feet tall. Wanted to make some assets for that actually, just so that it's not just me talking. Wanted to make some assets so it's considering like what which characters would be good for like for an Asian 50-foot woman or black 50-foot woman. Definitely considering Julia Argent. Um, maybe some of the characters from Encanto. Um, Firewolf. I just noticed he got here. Oh, and Quentin Howell. I don't think I noticed your comments. Kimmy from Symbiotic Titan. I'd love to do something with Symbiotic Titan, though. It's such a complex design for the Titan. Um, oh, the end's here. I told you to tell me. I keep forgetting. I'm sorry, and I'll send a reminder tomorrow. Firewolf. I think Tim Burns should make the 50-foot woman a victim. Um, I don't know if that would be in the style of like a Tim Burton movie. Might be a little too dark. I think he does make movies, that's supposed to appeal to like a wider crowd. Oh yeah, that is another thing I would discuss. Is like motivation. It's Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, so there has to be something that sets her off on a rampage. Yeah, Yen. It won overwhelmingly. So I definitely got an idea for the kind of crowd that we get on the channel. The Kaiju crowd. Oh, gone over the time, but pretty close to finished. Got the color in this eyeball here. Did I get it? Didn't get it. Let's see. Not sure what to work on tomorrow. Actually, let me look through my Patreon requests and see if there's anything that maybe catches y'all's fancy. Well, let's make Molly giant too. Because why not? Teehee. Speaking of Twisted Minds, I felt that monster blood from Goosebumps have turned its human characters into giant monster versions. Yeah, that's an interesting concept, actually. Oh, that reminds me, I got some pretty great fan art from Name and Address Withheld. I'll post it later. But it was something based on the animated Addams Family series. There was an episode where Thing gets turned giant, becomes like a 20-foot tall hand, and instead of just straight up making him like look like a giant version of like his character design, they like added a lot of detail to Thing, like made him hairier, and like you could see more detail, you know. So that is an interesting concept. It's also something that's kind of brought up in Jonathan Swift's book, Gulliver's Travels, where when Gulliver's in the land of giants, when he's looking at them, there's a page, he describes how basically he sees every single detail that usually you don't notice when you're talking with someone. Like every little pore, every little scratch. And he's actually wondering, you know, as he's kind of grossed out by seeing all this extra detail, if when he was in Lilliput with the Lilliputians, if like maybe they thought he looked kind of gross because, you know, he was a giant to them. So maybe they saw a bunch of imperfections that normally go hidden, you know, because you're just average size compared to everyone else. So yeah, I like that concept idea of like someone not just growing taller, but maybe getting some more monstrous features. Or oh my gosh, I still have to fix the sound. It's so loud. Yeah, like I was saying, someone not just turning giant, but also maybe getting some more exaggerated details, you know. Sorry, Mr. Foot, we're looking for a 20-foot hand. That show had some pretty decent humor. Some pretty good voice actors. That might be my favorite Addams Family media, actually, is the Fox Kids animated series. Alright, I really should be wrapping up. And we got Mollyzilla and Gamera Libby. Libbyra? I guess. Not like I mentioned, not sure what I'll work on tomorrow, but I could flip through the Patreon request, see if there's anything that interests y'all. And again, sorry if I missed any comments. Just been really focused on finishing this up. And then I noticed like some of these colors here could be swapped out. All right. Let's see. What do we have? And so these are all the ones that I already finished for the month. All right, so some stuff I could work on tomorrow. Someone requested Nani from Lilo and Stitch in like this commercial for a Mucinex thing. So maybe like some kind of experiment that looks like something you'd see in one of those commercials. Someone requested Mommy Longlegs like spitting out projectiles. Oh, we got Giganta. Someone wanted Giganta kidnapping Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen. So drawing assets for those two. Oh. I think this one is going to be Alex eating the people that turned her giant and gave her a sumo body. So I guess it would be like the Passion Patties lady and what was his name? Professor Smalls. I think falling in here. Oh, someone wanted Macy doing like it's like a walk cycle for Macy, but kind of like a supermodel strut. So it'd be like Fancy Macy. Not like the Japanese Nani yen, if that's what you're thinking. Smalls? I think his name was Smalls. Sorry, Rory, I don't think anyone requested that on our Patreon. Oh, and then there was Vivi from Brain Dead. I don't think I drew anything for that yet. Titan lose. Oh, lose Titan as a Titan kissing Amity. So yeah, a lot of different ideas. Yeah, we'll see what I work on tomorrow. Yeah, yours is another possibility, Kush. Yeah, requests are mostly for our patrons on Patreon. $20 tier and above. All right. Thanks everyone for dropping in. Sorry this took longer than usual. I'll see what I work on tomorrow. Y'all have a nice night.